Hey, all my digitally twisted outlaws. How are you guys doing today? I'm so happy to have you back here, and we are gonna do a comic review tonight on the very, very long-awaited and highly anticipated Vampirella versus Purgatori, issue 5. So this is the conclusion to this little mini-series, and we're going to go through, we're going to look at some of the scenes from it, review the story a little bit, and I'll give you my overall thoughts. Now, I've read a lot of these Vampirella crossover comics. This is definitely one of the better ones, and it's been such an interesting story up until this issue. Hear me out. So this was a really deep story. There was a lot of double crossing going on, a lot of very convoluted, laid out plans where you weren't really sure who was pulling the strings. Our very opening scene in this comic, we basically see that Purgatori has now ascended into this really amazing goddesshood, excuse me. And if you remember back from the last episode, the whole idea behind this was that as Purgatori goes and she takes on Hell, she kills Hell, consumes her essence, then she would take on her power. And over time, Purgatori basically takes down all of the gods and goddesses and consumes their power until she becomes the only remaining god. So as we can see here, she is Purgatori, the Apocalypse, Purgatori the Conqueror, the only god remaining, and she made the world a vampire's playground. And it's all yours, Lilith. Now, Lilith, oh my god, like, this woman, I can't stand her. And I feel like every comic that I read that has her in it, I just dislike her more and more and more and more. And like in this one and in this issue in particular, like, man, she is just like so insufferable. And I really, really wish that Vampirella would just put an end to her already. So Lilith has been orchestrating this whole thing, manipulating it all behind the scenes, implanting the thought in Purgatori's head that she should go and she should kill Hell, taking her power. This whole thing has been masterminded by Lilith for a super long time. And actually, this scene that we were just at, this took place in the future. 250 years in the future. So this is the future after Purgatori takes down Hell and all of the other gods, and this is what the world becomes. So the whole premise is that Lilith is now going and she is telling Purgatori what to do and the steps to take in the present time in the comic so that it will come to this future. So here we are in the present time. Purgatori is about to take down Hell. She's appeared in the Shadow Realm. If you saw all of my previous reviews, you know how we got to this point. So here she is in the Shadow Realm, about to take down Hell, about to kill her, imbibe her power, and it doesn't happen. Hell disappears. Hell knew that this was going on. She runs away. The whole plan starts to fall apart. And Lilith is basically sent into a rage about this. This page, actually, you know, one thing I will give this comic series is that they have very beautiful artwork. I think their artwork was very, very nice. This actually took place 250 years in the future in the comic. This is just more of the conversation with Lilith and Purgatori, where she's basically setting Purgatori up to like watch the unfolding events as she comes into her power. But that doesn't happen. And Lilith, of course, goes into a rage at the idea that Hell disappears. So Hell's now disappeared. Purgatory was not able to consume her power, which means that this future that we saw 250 years in the future isn't going to happen anymore. And Lilith is just besides herself. And this is one of the reasons Lilith is just such an awful character. And Undine, granted, she's also had her own hand in the manipulations of this story. But man, Lilith has just been so ruthless to her this entire series. And it's really sad because we see this dynamic going on. Lilith is kind of like the mother of all the monsters. So a lot of the monsters in this universe are Lilith's children. Undine is one of Lilith's children, as is Vampirella. Vampirella is her favorite child, though, and she's constantly orchestrating just these crazy schemes and games to get Vampirella's attention. Like, she's like a 3-year-old throwing a temper tantrum. And then meanwhile, you have Undine, who's another one of her children, who is just like desperate and starved and longing for attention from Lilith, that she's willing to do whatever she can, destroy the world in the process, kill all kinds of innocent people, just to try to please Lilith, and then Lilith just treats her horribly. It's like the whole thing is just so toxic and like, I just don't like Lilith. I don't like her character. A lot of this particular issue really kind of focuses on how awful she is and just this stupid game that she set up to try to get Vampirella's attention. It's so sad. It's so childish. Vampirella comes in to confront her as always, but of course, she never actually pulls the trigger and takes her down. She just, oh, I'm so done with you. Oh, you wanted my attention so badly. You were just willing to threaten every living soul in the world. You sacrificed your children to torture and kill innocent people. Well, here I am. You were just too busy focusing on toying with all these other people. You didn't realize what was going on. So she comes in, has this big confrontation scene, calls out the fact that Undine was manipulating it, which Lilith doesn't even really seem to care. Like, she doesn't care about Undine. She doesn't care about anybody else besides Vampirella, which these two, it's awful. And they get into their little fight. They're both pissy. They have a little fist fight. They hit each other. They push each other. But it's like Vampirella never just puts an end to her. I have read now so many miniseries with these crossovers where Lilith comes in, she wreaks havoc. Vampirella's always trying to fix all of the mess that her mother's created, but then she just tries to take this high road and be like, but no, I'm not gonna do anything to you. I'm just gonna walk away and you just leave me alone now, and It's just off her already. Lilith is bringing nothing redeeming at all to this world. She really isn't. Every one of these comics I read. It's just really obnoxious. This comic, it was okay. I really don't honestly have that much to say about it. It ties up the story. It's a little bit confusing. It's a little bit convoluted. We find out that Vampirella manipulated things behind the scenes. This whole entire comic series is just about these main characters double-crossing each other, manipulating everything behind the scenes, playing some crazy game with all of the innocent mortals in the world just being caught up in it for their own personal power games. Yeah, that's basically what happened. And Vampirella is honestly no better in this. She kills one of Lilith's most loyal servants, Salamander, and sends him to hell with a message. And plants the idea in Hell's mind that was my dog, sorry, plants the idea in Hell's mind that if she were to kill all of the remaining Siddiqium, which were all of the inherently good people in the world, that if Hell were to just kill them all, then she would gain power over the world. But this isn't true, because you have to kill the Siddiqium. They have to be corrupted before they die in order for that to happen. It doesn't happen if they just get killed off. So Vampirella basically just sacrifices all of these innocent people. And she says, oh, I felt bad about it. But, I mean, seriously. You know, that's what I'm saying. It's just, it's toxic. I wish that Vampirella would just kill Lilith and be done with this, and honestly move on to a better storyline. Like, I think Vampirella is a really interesting character. I think she has a lot of potential. I think that she has like a really good moral code to her, and it's very interesting what she stands for in the Dynamite universe, where she herself basically is a vampire, alien, monster, whatever. You know, she represents more of like these darker forces, but then she is going and trying to protect the world from people that are trying to do harm to it. It's a very interesting dichotomy, and there's so much interesting story that you can write with that and develop her character more. We just need to get Lilith out of there and like let her just move on and get rid of her mommy issues. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Basically, here's the ending. Hell lost her kingdom. Purgatory did not get her powers. She tries to make amends with Vampirella and tries to get her on her side to be like, hey, let's go, like, take over Hell and, like, cause some chaos. And Vampirella's like, no, I don't want to. Vampirella basically flies off and warns Purgatory, hey, you know, Lilith did kind of plant this seed in your head for this power, so I don't know, maybe you want to get that checked out or not, you know, whatever, it's up to you. Purgatory has a moment where she's like, ah, yes, I could be a god. And then it ends. And it's used like a lot of these miniseries are, and a lot of Dynamite comics in particular are, as a segue into another series, which is Purgatory's own series, which I actually do have some of the comics from Purgatory's own series. I haven't even started reading them yet, but I do have them because I am kind of interested in her character and what she does with it, because she has been pretty entertaining throughout this series. So I'm going to check out those Purgatory comics. So take a look at that when they come out. Check out the other comic reviews, and make sure that you check out all of the other content on our channel. We have a bunch of really, really awesome stuff using David's big sword, which I was going to point to in the corner where it usually sits, but he's actually outside practicing it with it right now. So I'm sure a video will be coming up with that practice soon. So check it out. I'll talk to all you outlaws later. Bye!